Randy, I'm telling you, every Monday when we get together, it's just like, wow, another week went by like that, man.
You got that right. Yeah, it's amazing how fast the year goes by. I'll tell you what, though, Ted, we have a lot of fun doing these shows, and the feedback that we've been getting, at least I'm hearing from my contacts, is, man, I don't know how you guys came up with the idea, but this is so unique and it's fun. So we're having a good time, and we'll keep the ball rolling for as long as we can. But we've got to.
Should you answer the question with we are really, really smart people? Can we do that?
Yeah, we could, but then I think my nose would grow, or I don't know. Hey, my name is Randy Wooden. I work with Goodwill Industries, Northwest North Carolina, and run our professional center. Oh gosh, if you're a professional in a job hunt, the jobs are out there for sure. It's still a competitive situation, and you may face barriers, whether it's age or a lack of a certain certification or degree or whatever. But regardless, our services are free. We're happy to help. So find me on LinkedIn and find me online. We're happy to help. Again, it's all free, but we do work by appointment. So I encourage you to reach out. But every Monday, Teddy and I get together and talk about, our show coming up on Wednesday, and also share a story and a quick tip as well. But for the 6 people or 2 people that don't know who you are, Teddy, who are you? What are you doing?
Hey, buddy. Hey, for those who have not met me, I own a business called Burriss Consulting. We're all about teaching LinkedIn as a business tool, do one-on-one coaching, corporate training programs, public speaking, lots of different ways I can help people, because what I'm always after is to help people figure out how to master using LinkedIn as a business tool, so they don't waste time doing it. It's a lot of fun. So, hey, Randy. So, stories, man. Do you have a story?
I do. This happened a little ways back here, a few days back, but we have people that work, for Goodwill, not job hunter people that come in looking, but people who are employed by Goodwill. And we had a new person join in our hospitality or housekeeping role. And so their role is to empty trash, take care of the hallways, and general upkeep of the facility to keep it looking nice. And she popped into my office, and I called her by name. Now, she is actually taking over for someone who is stepping down to part-time and then going to ultimately retire. So they're trying to work this new individual into the mix. And so the other day was the first day that I actually encountered her one-on-one, and I called her by her first name. She did not have a name tag on. I would have cheated. See, I would have looked at the name tag.
Yeah.
But I didn't, and she didn't have one on. And she stopped and she looked at me and she said, "Randy, you're only the second person in our entire building who knew to call me by my name." She said, "Thank you. That means more to me than you know."
Yeah.
And to me, I was just trying to be nice because I knew she was going to be in my office on a regular basis. So I asked the other person, what's their name? And so I wrote it down. Point is, I wrote it down. I took the time to care. I didn't think it was any big deal. I mean, I'm just trying to be nice and just called her by name. But it had an impact on her that she didn't expect. And I suspect it'll be a long lasting one. So my story, I guess, then is take the time to care, to show that you care. And when you can remember someone's name, that means a lot to them. Mm-hmm. And I tell you, you've talked about that as far as some of the books that you read and how important that is. And maybe you'd like to share that too.
Well, yeah. So I studied Dale Carnegie back in 2008 or 9. I can't remember exactly what it was. For I think it was like 14, 15 weeks. I drove 45 miles every Tuesday to study Dale Carnegie with the.
Was Nigel teaching that? Was
Nigel Alston was my Dale Carnegie. It's still today. I consider him my Dale Carnegie coach.
Yep.
And one of the Dale Carnegie principles that he has a little golden book, Dale Carnegie, back in the 60s, put together a little golden book of Dale Carnegie principles. And there's 30 of them that are in the book. There's actually 31. The 31st didn't get put in there, but the top 9 are really potent, powerful principles. And one of them, and I can't remember which one it is, I think it's number 7, number 8, says to Randy, his name is the sweetest sound in any language. And now I've added or font.
That's right. So, social media. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Interesting. So that's my story, Teddy. And it just, we want to be mindful that little things like that sometimes mean a whole lot more than we think. And take
And
the time
thanks for the help. Well,
Yeah.
over the last week, we were talking about last week's guest with Nathan DeBagno and Jeff Luttrell, as you helped me make sure I pronounced DeBagno correctly.
Absolutely. Got it.
Hey, here's my story. This is about, this is the story. I decided to use this one in context of Nancy Krauss coming up. Randy will tell us about Nancy in a few minutes. But my story is that I got to meet some learning and development, L&D, learning and development professionals. And I started hanging out with them. And I really never referred to myself as a learning and development professional. But the more I hung out with these folks who teach and build and design and put together training programs, it really got me to thinking. And if I hadn't gone on that journey to meet these Association of Talent Development, ATD.org, L&D folks, I never would have gotten into the online training program. So now I'm creating online training programs all over the place because I got to meet these L&D folks. So if you want to learn, one of the coolest way to learn is to start hanging out with really freaking smart people. And it's changed my life profoundly because I started hanging out with really smart people. So I encourage you all, do that. Bump into someone who does something different than you, and you have no idea where you may take you. It may take you a long way. That's my story, Randy.
Well, I always say life is a journey. It's full of many chapters, and this is a new chapter for you. You are an old dog that can learn new tricks. So
thanks. Biscuit.
Hey, this week Nancy Krauss joins us all the way from Florida. I think where's she down? She's down in the Miami area. She's down in the Miami area. She has had a career in training and development. So you talk about learning and such. Her topic is going to be the truth about training and how it impacts our performance. And I would suspect she'll dispel some myths that we have about training and maybe offer up some pointers and tips for how we can better implement the training that we do receive. So Nancy Krauss joins us. That'll be on Wednesday, the 18th, 11:55 for the behind the scenes. And we go live at noon. So I hope you join us. Yeah.
You know what's something really cool about Nancy? You're bringing her to the show because you found her. But I've known Nancy for a long time. And I mean, not over a long, couple of years. And I see Nancy every week. And so she reminded me that she's coming on the show. And I said, yeah, make sure you and Randy talk.
Well, interesting how we came to quote unquote meet. She had inquired about Goodwill, and I think there may have been a Goodwill opportunity or an opportunity to volunteer for Goodwill down in Florida. And of course, Goodwill is all over the country, but they're all autonomous regions. And so I try to explain how I have no influence or have no contact necessarily with the folks in Miami. Yeah. But I encourage her to look more into it. And as we got talking about training and helping people reach their goals, I thought, wouldn't that be a nice topic for us to cover on our lunch show? And so one thing led to another. And so she'll be on this coming week. I've got a tip, Teddy, and then I'll throw it to you to share a tip and take us on home here. But the tip deals with not being too hard on yourself. I think we've all sat through trainings, and some of us go, oh man, I got to sit through this. All this work that I can't get done. Oh man, I got to take time off of this silly training. And I think we've all heard that, right? Of course, I never said that, but I hear it. I hear it from other people. And then you've also got the folks that sit there and take copious notes and study, but they beat themselves up because they aren't fully retaining all of the training. And the thought becomes, if I can't do all this, I'm a failure. Oh, this was the third time I sat. I'm just not getting it. So the heck with it. And I think we can be too harsh on ourselves. So forget the people that don't care. You can't teach the want to. They don't have it. So forget them. That's on them. But for the people who take it to heart and really want to improve, and yet get inundated with a 2-day training or a weekend training or whatever, and they just feel lost. And now they say, well, I don't want to go through that again. That was painful. how can we break this down into bite-sized chunks so we're not too hard on ourselves? And for me, with my limited brain capacity today, I've learned to adapt to that. And I feel good if I only retain maybe 10% of this stuff. You know what? I'm human. And like I said, many brain cells ago, maybe I could have retained 20%. Point being, don't be too hard on yourself when it comes to training. And I hope that Nancy will share some tips on how we can process this information and then ultimately use it. Because just hearing and reading about it, oh, that sounds good. But unless you implement it and work it into your daily routine, you're missing the boat. So we'll talk more about that. That'll be coming up on Wednesday. So what you got, Teddy?
Hey, I'm going to stay in the same theme of training.
Yeah.
I make $1 million a month doing this training in my mind. Okay. So I train people all day long. And one of the challenges I throw down to my stakeholders, the people who bring me into the companies or the people who hire me for training is like, I first say, look, if you're not willing to practice, then I'm not going to train you. Because that's a waste of time. Taking online training courses are really, really a great way to, and an economical way to learn new stuff. LinkedIn Learning, Udemy, Skillshare, Teachable, TabletWise, they're all over the freaking place. But you take these online training classes and you go, check that off the box and say, I did that. But you don't practice them. Yeah. So my tip is this: to commit not only to take a class a month, a class a quarter, okay, not a class a year, class a month, maybe a class a quarter, but more importantly, commit to practicing what you learned, and then you'll find out how you can get value from that. Otherwise, it's just a checkbox in learning and development and it doesn't really help you. That's my tip, Randy.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And it kind of dovetails with what I was sharing. So really looking forward to Nancy coming on. And I think we'll learn how to learn. We'll learn how to learn. And there may be some tips and tricks that we can implement. So all good stuff. Cool. And again, that's coming up on the 18th of August at 11:55. We'll go behind the scenes and learn all the deep, dark secrets about what's behind Teddy there and in those books and all of that. He's got his phone. Teddy, your phone's on Do Not Disturb. So remember to
purposely look. I learned that years ago, man. Put the phone on Do Not Disturb.
That reminds me, I better do mine too. Oops. Anyway, hey, Teddy, it's going to be great. We're going to have a great show. And Nancy, I know Nancy, and she's passionate about training, and it's been her career. So definitely looking forward to having her on as our guest this Wednesday.
Cool. Hey, and if anybody has another idea of a topic of an absolutely glorious special guest that we should invite to the show, let us know who that is or what that topic is, and we'll go look for someone who can speak on it, because the purpose of these Wednesday shows is to bring special guests with ideas that you guys can benefit from. So we'll always open to those ideas. Yep. Randy, go off and make some more people happy the rest of this afternoon, and see you on Wednesday, man.
All right. Works for me. Take care.
Bye.